What is going on, everyone? I'm Anguel, bringing you another Haxe tutorial, this time on files. We're going to go over how to save files, how to read files, and how to append to files. And this video is going to be a bit longer than the past few ones I've made, so I'm just going to jump right into things. I'm going to delete this line right here. And so first things first, I want you to go up to class, and I want you to import something above that. I want you to import sys with lowercase s, because it means package, sys.io.file. All right. Next off, I want you to create a variable. We're going to call this file directory, or file dir, rather, for shorter. File dir. It's going to be string, and we're going to set that equal to whatever file directory you want to save to. I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to copy this. Okay. Copy that, and I'm going to paste it inside double quotes, and we're going to go like this. A couple things you need to keep in mind real quick. First of all of these single backslashes, you need to change them into two, so you need to throw another backslash in front of it. The reason being is just because of the way Windows reads characters. You need to use double backslashes in order to recognize it using a single backslash and a string. And the second thing you need to know is that your file directory also needs to contain the name of the file you want to create. So down here, I have a superfile and superfile.txt. Now, to show you what I mean, if I go like this, I just type in superfile, it's not superfile, and I don't have any extension or anything at the end of it, it's going to create a super file, just a regular file type. If I do superfile.txt, it's going to create the same thing, but it's going to create a text document instead. It's not too hard, but I mean, it is a little bit difficult to understand right now. I know I had trouble at least. So I'm just going to do superfile.txt. Everything will make a lot more sense in a moment when we get to the actual file creation. So I'm going to go to a new line. Where is the rest of my... Oh, there we go. I was like, where is the rest of my main function? Not again. No, it's not. It was weird. Okay, not gonna look into it though. So now we're gonna create the file. We have to type in file to access our file class dot write. This is going to write our file. Now we need to do two things. First of all, we need to put the file directory with the name of the file and the extension. So in this case, it's going to be file dir because that contains the extension, the name, and the directory, the name, and the extension. And then we want to put false because we don't need to worry about whether or not it's a Boolean. No, whether or not it's binary. So we just need to put false. So if we run this program now, and I go over here to my desktop and I do Haxe-main saving the files to enter, and if I actually save my file and I run it, as you can see, it's going to create a file down here called supertext.txt. Now to show what I meant before, if I remove the .txt and I run that line again, it's just going to create a super file, a blank document. So that's what I meant by that. I'm just going to add the .txt up here. You got to remember to have that. There is another way to do this because typing in the file directory and then the file name and the text all in one go can get a bit tedious at times. I'm going to show you that towards the end with another file. The saving file is over here, but that also has its own problems, so I'm not going to go over that at this moment. Now we're going to append files. And this one's a bit, it's not as easy as reading files, but it's simple nonetheless. We're going to create a list. The reason why we're going to create a list is so we can just write multiple things to the file. So we're going to do list. We're going to call this names, and we're going to set this equal to a new list. Now we're going to do the carets, and it's going to be a type of string. We're just going to do parentheses and then semicolon right at the end. Now we're going to do names.add, and we're going to start adding some names. I'm going to do as well. I'm going to do another names.add. I'm going to do Esperanza, ESPRNC. Yep, okay, and we're going to do names.add Maki. There we go. Maki Haruno. Interesting name. And so we're going to make a for loop. A for is a simple for keyword with parentheses followed after it, and inside those is for every I in list. Now that's names. For every I in names. And we're going to follow that by a pair of square brackets, and we're going to do the following. Actually, above that first, we're going to want to do create a new variable called output. And I'll explain why we need this in a minute. Output. Okay, now inside of our for loop, we want to do file dot append. Right. Okay, file dot append. Now this is going to have the file directory we want again. No, yeah, file directory we want to have again. So we want to have file dir once again, and we're also going to change out the files because we don't need to worry about whether or not it's binary. Under that, we're going to do output dot write string, and I'm pretty sure we're going to do I and then plus \n inside parentheses. That's probably going to cause an error, so let's go up here and let's do output equals. Okay, there we go. So we have output equals file.append, file dir, and then false. You have output.write string I, which is going to equal Anguel, then Esperanza, then Maki Haruno as it iterates through the list, and then the \n followed by the, or inside the parenthesis quotation marks rather, just adds it to a new line. Now the reason why we needed output before is because you can't just do file.write string. If I try doing this, I plus \n, if I just, that's an M, fantastic. If I just comment these out real quick, if I go like this, highlight them all, and just Control-Shift-Q, and I try to run this program, you're gonna get a bunch of errors. So, that's why it doesn't work. All right. So we want to get rid of this and get rid of that. All right. Fix some space here. And we're going to want to do output dot close. This is just going to close it. So if we run it now, I do have a feeling that it's going to do the thing again. Okay, it's going to do the thing again. I figure it's going to cause that error message. So I'll be right back in a sec. Alright, so that was a really like embarrassingly simple mistake. So up here I have list names. That's how you create a variable in Java and in C#. I'm supposed to do variable names. That's what I was supposed to do. So if I run it, everything's added. You can't tell just yet because we haven't read it, but if we open up superfile.txt, as you can see, we have Anguel, then Esperanza, then Maki Haruno, and each one is on a new line. So let me just re-show you guys what I meant to show you before I completely sidestep that. So if I do file.write, let's go right here. I do file.append. Yeah, file.append. Oh my gosh, okay. File.write string, right? And I do I plus \n, okay? Just to show you guys, if I remove all this text from here, and I save that, and I try to run this program, boom, it says the sys.file class has no field write string. That is why we need to use output instead, because that gives us access to the write string method that just accessing the class itself doesn't do. So we're going to fix that. And we're going to want to rerun this again so everything just casually shows up in the text editor. Nothing's going to show up if I don't close it and then reopen it. There we go. And then refresh. So last up on our list of things to do is how to read a string. This one's surprisingly simple. We just want to do trace. And we just want to do file dot get content, and then we're going to do file dir, right? Yep, just file dir. So if we run this, boom, everything matches up nicely. We have Anguel, we have Esperanza, and then we have Maki Haruno, all of which show up inside of the text editor, in this case Notepad, and the text document. See? Although it looks a bit nicer in the text document, personally speaking. But nonetheless, that's how you write or make a new file. That is how you add elements to the file. And that is how you save the file. So, like I said before in the beginning, this is kind of it's not a bad method, but it's an annoying one, to say the least, in my opinion, for having to do multiple files. Like, let's say you didn't want to have superfile.txt as a name. How would you go about doing that? Or what if you didn't want it to be a txt, you do it like a .docx for your Microsoft Documents. Hey guys, I want to take a quick pause for a second to mention something that I didn't mention in the video that is kind of important. So you can make different types of document files, .txt, .rtf, .docx. However, you can't write to all of them. I'll show you what I mean towards the end of the video, but like you can make a .docx, but you can't write to it. So I just wanted to say that, and I will definitely show you what I mean later on in the video. Just don't want to get you all confused when you see that come up. So see, it's definitely not as simple as this. There's a lot more to it. So let me break this down for you, just so it's easier to understand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to full screen. That's not Haxe Develop. That is OBS. So I'm just going to full screen Haxe Develop for a minute. Make it easier to see, easier to explain. So here I have my file directory string, and a couple things you're going to notice. First off, these are single quotes. Second off, there's a $sign here. So what does this all mean? So this $sign allows me to access the contents of the string variable file name, which I'll explain in a second, inside of a text. So it's essentially the same thing as a string concatenation. So something like this. So the program here, let me clear this space up here real quick. The program here does the following. It will prompt the user to enter the name of the file. So if I go back here, let me just do Haxe tutorial, so I can just drag and drop this right here. Okay, see? Actually, let's do it like this instead. Okay, cool. Just close that. There we go, that too. Okay, wow. Okay, cool. So it'll prompt for a username, or username for a name of the file. So in this case, superfile. Then it'll prompt the user for a file extension, .txt. File directory then equals this file path, which is the same thing as this file path, with the exception of the .txt. And if you're wondering where superfile is, that's where this is. The $sign allows me to use a variable inside a string. Now, this only works in single quotes, which is why it's in single quotes, not double quotes. You'll catch an error if you try to use it in double quotes. So, this is essentially saying C users Anguel Esperanza desktop Haxe superfile. Remember, because superfile is stored in the variable file name with, when used inside single quotes and a $sign in front of it, allows me to access the variable file name. So right down here is the file directory complete, which essentially contains the file directory, this up here, with the file extension, but with a bit of extra. So what is this line right here? The .substring, and then in parentheses 0, file text.length. So you see, when using this method and you go to read the file afterwards down here, or you go to append to it, you're going to catch an error. And the error is that Haxe is looking for something like this. So if I just do a create new, Haxe is looking for something like superfile .txt. And we didn't write a superfile.txt. We wrote superfile.txt. At least in the code, that's what we thought we wrote. And when we go to read it, it's not going to find a superfile.txt. So to fix that, we have to use a substring. Essentially, this is going to start at 0, which is the dot, and it's going to go all the way to file dot, or to the length of the string. So file.exe is going to go all the way to the t in file.txt, or in .txt, my bad. We do this because this avoids the extra dot that shows up. Thus, we're able to read and write to the file we created. Now, everything else pretty much works the same. When you do output, though, you do have to remember to file.append this line up here, pretty much. You got to remember that you want to append the file with the file extension with a bit of extraness in it. Now, if you don't do that, I didn't do this for a while, and I thought there was a message. I thought there was a big error with this way. So if I go like this, and I once again bring this down, and I quickly bring up the terminal, there we go, command prompt, and if I do run it, so if I run this up top here, and I run, let me see, okay, I run, let's call this Anguel, right? Anguel, and we're going to do .txt. You see, it's going to create a blank document and a text document like you saw at the beginning of the video. We don't want that, and it does this because file.append is trying to append to a file that doesn't exist. So what does it do? It writes that file at this directory with that name. We don't want that. So instead, we need to make sure we're calling the right file by doing file exe or ext.substring. That way we can only create one file. So if I delete everything except superfile, because we're going to keep that. So if I go like this, and that's exactly what I deleted, fantastic. Let's try it again. Okay, so if I do that again, save this, and I run that this time, and I do Anguel.txt, it will only create Anguel.txt. And if I open it, it's going to have Haxe is awesome, product placement, please like and subscribe below. Now, if you forgot this and you did it this way once more, you do have to keep in mind that because it's creating another file, it's going to try to read from a blank file because we're not writing to where we want to write to. As such, it's not going to be able to read anything. You're going to get a blank. You're going to get, is it somewhere over here? It doesn't show up, but you would get like a blank line if you tried to read it, and you're not going to be able to write to it because you're looking for the wrong file. So let's just, okay, fantastic. Let's just fix that manually, like this. Like that. Alright, so right here you see I tried to create a .docx, and this is going to explain the point I made earlier in the video where you can make different file types, but you can't write to all of them. So it's gonna cause an error message in a few, so I'm just gonna let you guys just watch it for a bit, and then we can just continue on with the rest of the tutorial. Let's do .txt. .txt. Well, alright, okay, cool. So yeah, just to show again, if I go like this, and I run that again. Now I want to do saving files, Anguel.txt. Boom, it'll run, and it'll it'll do that. So you can also do the same thing over there as well. This is the easier method, but it's a lot more limiting in the sense that your file directory has to be decided at the same time of the creation. This, you can break it down line by line, probably run it through like a while loop or something. So, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, I'm Anguel, and peace.